Right, so I'm here with Rob Tuck at the moment, a good friend of mine, and we're going to try and address a couple of different revenue streams, and always looking at different revenue streams, as you know, from the channel. And the two that we do is, one, I do Amazon, and I know you've got a lot of questions about Amazon, and I've got a lot of questions about network marketing, which I know Rob's heavily involved with himself. So I'm going to have to go first under the gun, which is always a bit nerve-wracking, but yeah, fire away with your questions. So
first of all, folks, I know absolutely nothing about selling anything on Amazon. I'm going to ask you some really idiotic questions.
Okay.
And so this is like, talk to me like you're talking to a 5-year-old, because I know nothing. And so here we go. How did you get started with Amazon? What gave you the, I want to do that?
I've always been passionate about reselling and buying and selling anything, whether it would be on a big scale or a small scale, but eBay was getting more and more slow, and I heard a lot about people selling into Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon. So you ship into Amazon, they would literally service the customer on your behalf. So you just got to get it to them. So that was a big push for me, and I got the account set up, and from there I just found it a little bit of a learning curve, but it was fairly simple because I didn't see it as high risk, because you could literally scan the items that you were buying,
yeah, it's brilliant,
and see what they were selling for before you even bought them.
So they're going to massively limit your risk.
Yeah, it does take the risk out. There's always a risk that someone else can be buying the same thing and then suddenly compete with you on price by the time you ship it in. So there's always that element of risk, but it's pretty mitigated. So that was the main reason.
I fully understand. I used to do it on eBay before.
Yeah, I did. Always sold stuff on eBay, just historically, stuff I didn't want anymore. I get such a thrill out of buying something, using it for a year and a half, and selling it for more. It would be phenomenal. I think I did it with a sofa once, which is unbelievable. And
but you've got to ship it on eBay.
Yeah, you've got to ship it, and you've got the thought of going to the post office. Me is absolute hell. So I'd rather pay. Amazon fees are generally more than eBay by about between 5 and 10%. So it's a lot more, but for me to not have to go to the post office, I pay about £1,000, I think.
Yeah, so it's well worth standing that queue.
No, exactly. So it's well worth it.
So it's easy to sign up with Amazon and get started and register your business.
it's. I wouldn't say it's easy. It does take a bit of time, but there's two ways to do it. You either register as an individual or register as a business.
Right.
And
what's the difference there?
So I'd say if you're going to go over more than one item a day selling, then you probably go for a business. So the difference is on a personal account, I think it's about £30 a month fee, and then the fees are slightly lower.
Right.
But then you take away the standing order fee, and then the fees are normally beneficial once you go over about 30 units a month. So if you're selling a lot of volume, it needs to be a business account, because generally if you're selling that much, you're going to be doing a business, aren't you? So you need to keep it above board.
So if someone was inspired from this video and they got started, maybe just with an individual account for now, would you suggest them to stick with one product range or one product line, or would you explore? What would be your advice?
Personally, I mean, a lot of people would tell you to stick with one thing and try and make it successful, but
I've just been in your garage and there's not one thing.
No, there's definitely not one thing. And I'd say if you're out there doing the rounds, you're looking for stuff to buy, why would you limit yourself to one thing?
I agree.
Yeah, because I may then turn down 10 things because I'm thinking I'm only buying heating controls this week. Why would you ever do that? So I try and keep it diverse. If something I'm scanning is making 50, 100%, why wouldn't I buy it?
If you can see right on your hand, I can sell it for £5 and I can buy it for £1.
Exactly, and
don't turn up the opportunity.
Yeah, there's been items that I've seen recently that I've never bought before. That I buy them for 50p and they're selling for £10 plus. I try and buy as many as I can, but obviously I'm checking. One thing to check, one big tip is to check the Amazon rank. So the closer to 1 is the higher it's ranked and the more it would sell. So that is one big thing to watch out for, because you don't want to get stuck with slow moving stuff, which I have done, made a mistake. But.
Okay, cool. And I also see other people doing Amazon. You are more flipping the products, find them, flip them, find them, flip them.
Yeah.
Other people design their own products, usually from China, get it shipped to Amazon. Why have you gone down the flip route and not the design your own products?
So I actually shipped in last year a load of stuff from China. It was USB port rucksacks, all round, like a random thing. It was highly ranked on Amazon. They were selling really well, but the problem with importing stuff from China is you're really at the mercy of the manufacturer, and if stuff turns up and the quality is not there, and the problem we had with these ones were you put anything more than about 3 kilo in, the stitching started to go on the handle. So it was a real problem.
And what is the returns policy on that? Is there
there's literally there's no comeback. You've got people on the other side of the world. You try and say,
sorry. So someone buys it on Amazon, it falls apart.
Oh, it's down to me. So I've got no comeback with the manufacturer. Well, we tried to send a load of stuff back, but got no comeback with the manufacturer. But there's I think it's a 90-day policy, maybe even a 6-month policy with Amazon.
Wow.
And they effectively give a full refund on my behalf. So you can lose a lot of money.
Struck the money out of your account.
So that's why I prefer the retail arbitrage side of it and buying stuff that I physically can see. But there is also people making a lot of money by white labeling. And it normally, if you get to a scale and you go to China, you start seeing the products. So it takes that out the risk.
And what are the typical products that people are going to China and designing? Like what you've seen successful?
It literally could be anything. I mean, I saw a case study of a guy who literally imported. They were, what were they? They were like for doing marshmallows, like big sticks. They're called. I think they're called jungle sticks. So they, instead of being like a normal foot, where you might get a bit near the fire, they were 2 foot long. And this guy was selling thousands of these things, like imported from China, completely random, branded them as jungle sticks, and then selling thousands and thousands of these things. It's just completely random. But you're obviously buying and importing stuff from China. It's getting manufactured, and it could be anything. You know, I've imported before gym equipment. So I own a gym, so I tried to buy equipment for the gym. Wanted a bench. I'd buy 5 of every item I wanted and sell the other 4, and it would mean I get profit and I get a free item. And you get to see the process, and it's a very steep learning curve because you suddenly realise stuff getting to the port in the UK and you suddenly got to pay VAT, and then you've got to try and get it to the port. You didn't realise, I thought it'd come to the door, but no, it doesn't. It goes to the port. So yeah.
And the gym equipment's not exactly
no,
small.
It's not exactly small when you can't stick it in the back of a hatchback. But, yeah.
So you want to stick to the flipping for now?
Yeah, definitely.
So where's the best place to look if you're picking up something? I know we spoke about boot sales and you looked
and
contacts.
I personally, no matter how successful I become or however much I was doing, I'd always go because I absolutely love buying and selling random stuff and buying something for £1, selling something for £20. And
that's in your blood.
Yeah, I spoke to about it before. I'd rather do that. I get more of I'd get more of a thrill from that than doing a development where you're getting a couple of £100,000 over a year because it's instant. And where else you get a return of like 20 to 1 on £1 spent, you just don't get it. And it's in my blood, and I absolutely love it. And I think it's scalable to a certain level. Obviously, you get to a point where you can't buy the volume, and I've been there. But you build relationships with people that are selling there, and you can get hold of a lot more quantity, and that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, and you mentioned it's end of season for boot sales.
Yeah, so we get to the end of the summer, and all I'm doing now is just collecting phone numbers from the people I buy from regularly, and I'll just call them up, get them to deliver. And the hard thing about when you're buying hundreds of certain items, you've got to try and get in and out of a field with a little trolley trying to carry boxes in and out, so it does get a bit tiresome.
You need a Rodney Trotter.
You do need a Rodney Trotter, yeah, 100%. But so that's the downside of it. To scale from, so I'd say it's very, well, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's, there's labour involved, but anyone that's working around their job could probably get to around 250k a year just doing the flip side of it. And from the YouTube videos I've done, it's showing. Yeah, it's showing.
About a third of that would be profit.
About a third, yeah.
A third, and you buy for a third.
That's my worst case. I always aim at least doubling my investment. So, say I'm buying something for £5, Amazon take a £5. I need to be selling for £15. That's what I aim for. But sometimes it can be more than 100% return.
Depends on the product.
Yeah, it definitely can. So it's well worth doing. So
you think someone could get started and scale it up in and around whatever they do? Life, chaos, job.
Yeah, so I did it, and the biggest reason I did this case study was because people were saying that you can't do this around your job, you can't do it without money. So I started with zero, and I'm doing a lot of stuff day to day. Like, I don't work in a job, but I have several businesses, and it does take up a lot of time, and especially in property, as you know, we've had a quick lunch and I'll be on the phone just trying to get a deal overnight today, and it's not happening, and stress happens.
Yeah.
So
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not that much. There's not that much time I can commit, but doing 2 hours a day has allowed me to scale it that quickly. And we were at I think we got to the 100k, which was the challenge, goes to 0 to 100k, and I think we did it by April of the year, so we were well ahead of schedule.
Fantastic, amazing.
Yeah.
That's literally incredible.
Yeah, it's exhausting, but it's.
And how's it been with you and Jack?
Yeah.
Your relationship, has that evolved? Has it helped? How would you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. For those who haven't seen it, so my son's 7.
You haven't seen it? Come watch it.
So my son's 7, and just trying to teach him the basics of buying and selling, the value of money, because.
And he's right into it, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves it. And the problem you see with a lot of young kids, they want, they don't really appreciate what it takes to actually acquire the stuff that they want and the expense involved. And he's now learning that stuff he doesn't want, he can actually sell on to find stuff he does want. So it's a real good learning curve.
Did you do that at school at all? Or just stick to Amazon?
He's very good at maths all of a sudden. But his English he needs to work on. But
because traditionally the 7-year-old would buy a pack of sweets, then sell them to his mates.
That's what I did.
Yeah. So you've always been that person.
Yeah, I've always been that person. But I worked up in the city and sort of got tied in for too long, and I wish I'd left a bit earlier so I can actually fulfil.
He's still got life on the old dog.
Yeah, he's still got life on me. But, yeah, so it's definitely an interesting process, and he's enjoyed the journey for sure.
Amazing. And so if someone wanted to get started,
yeah,
they've got limited amount of funds. Obviously, they got a little bit of time, but they're thinking this could work out for me. I could flip my way to a bit of success. How much time would you say recommended is to gain enough traction? Because I know people ask me the same question: how much time do I need to put in? Well, it's the value you put in the time,
yeah, of course,
and how effective you are. But say if you was moderately productive and you had a bit of money, what would be a good starting point where you can have a bit of money? I know you started with 0,
yeah,
but a bit of money.
The hardest bit was going 0 to 100 because you're trying to get stuff for free on Facebook Marketplace and then trying to sell it. So that's the really hard.
So you was like grind.
Yeah, and like literally driving, pick up a free headball, sell it. Right, so in answer to your question, I'd say around 2 hours a day would really work, and about £500 just to stop you having to go through that initial phase of having to get a load of cash together. That would really accelerate the process.
So would you say if you can get from 0 to 10k, that's the hardest bit?
Oh yeah, definitely. That is definitely the hardest bit, because
same in my business.
Yeah, because
and then you've got a bit of confidence, you've got some experience.
Yeah, and you can take quick action on bigger deals, which you couldn't do with a smaller amount of money. So that's definitely key as well. And
so like any business, the first 3-6 months is the grind and the tough bit.
Yeah,
that's where you've got to stick in and stay strong.
Yeah, 100%. And the beauty of it is you just got to be a bit patient with it, because some stuff's not going to sell as quickly as you want.
Yeah.
And some stuff that's really surprising will sell out that you would never expect. I had a load of toilet flush buttons that I bought for 50p each. I bought 150,
so random, isn't it?
150 of them. They were selling for £29 each. Sort of 150 of them I bought for 50p. Like, it's just completely random stuff like that. So
wow.
you can never guess it until you're in it and you know what works.
And Amazon would never stop it, would they?
I'd say no. No, I'd say no, because a lot of their revenue comes from resellers like myself. The amount of fees they charge, I'd say over half the market is resellers. So why would they ever stop?
Yeah, no. Why not? He's the richest man in the world now. So.
Yeah, so it makes sense. But it definitely works as a business, and I'll be interested to ask you now about your side of it, because it's completely different, and I failed to understand it fully, so it'd be good to answer a few questions on that. So let's go into that then. And as mentioned at the start, Rob is into network marketing. Now, for which company is it?
I work with Arbon.
Yeah. Okay, so heard of those quite a few times, and I've looked at a few different methods of network marketing. One was Isogenics, and I found a few things that I didn't really like about the model, like minimum orders, etc. And we'll go into the depth of how your side of it works. So one of the biggest misconceptions that may be out there, and that I've always struggled with, is I've always thought with that sort of scheme, it's hard to make a lot of money because there's a lot of layers involved and there's a lot of people above you. So is that the case, or is that just a misconception?
I think it's pure misconception. I can tell you from my personal account, my biggest ever paycheck with Arbon is £2,370 in a month.
Right.
A girl who I've introduced regularly makes £15,000 a month.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter how many people are above you. If you put in the effort, if you put in the reward, you will get rewarded. At least within Arbon's compensation plan. I can't comment on anyone else's,
Yeah, of
because
course.
obviously I don't really know what they're about, but I just know that it's fair and ethical that whoever is above you doesn't really matter, and she's shown that. Okay, she's outworked me, she's doing some amazing stuff, and she's fabulous, and she's got rewarded for that handsomely.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you have to be so careful of with some of the models I know is if someone goes above you, you sort of lose their revenue stream. Is that right?
And you can't get them back.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big problem.
That's a key part of research before you get into anything.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people just negative about it as a blanket scheme. But I know people that are making serious money from it, and it's the difference with the stuff I'm doing and the stuff Rob's doing is. I'll get the stuff set up, but I'll still have to get the shipments in. Yours the other way, you do the front end work and
so we have to acquire the customer and everything else is done for us. You acquire the product and and Amazon take care of the customer.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's literally flip reverse.
Yes, very different. So a different way of looking at it, but you've got to be passionate about it.
Yeah, you have to, you're researching it, you're out there trying to find the product. You're trying to buy it personally for the minimum amount and sell it for the maximum amount. That's already set for me.
Yeah.
I buy it at a certain price, we sell it at a certain price. I can't move that. That's all set up for me, and my job is to find the customer.
Yeah, makes sense. So one of the other questions is, how does the structure work? Because you hear about different legs, etc., and a lot of people refer to it as almost like a pyramid, but the way it works, how does it work exactly within this company?
Within Arbon, it's called a breakaway system. So what it means is you can out-earn your sponsor, you can over-jump them, and it's just a fair, ethical way of doing things, in my opinion. And so you can sign up infinite amount of people, so you can sign up as many people directly as possible, which in most companies you can't.
No.
So there's lots of different compensation plans. I'm not an expert on all of them. Arbon's called a breakaway system, you have a binary, there's other different things, and they all have their ups and downs, but I just know that within the company that I am working with, that if you put in the effort you get rewarded, and they're not going to go, you've overjumped someone so you can't get it back or anything like that. But those compensation plans, some of them good, some of them bad. I won't comment on anyone in particular, but that's where the misconception comes, that network marketing has a compensation plan and it's the same for every company.
No.
So if you dig into, if someone comes with a criticism with me to say it's a pyramid, well, there's probably 50 different compensation plan types and every one of them is different.
Yeah.
And so some of them are good, some of them are ethical, some of them maybe aren't.
It's the same, it's the same as with property. There's so many different versions of way property is distributed and how it's funded, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something you have to really look into, as you say.
100%.
One other thing that I would ask is how many hours a week do you have to sort of put into this sort of a business, because it can be very passive on the back end, but I can imagine it's quite fun.
Yeah. Like anything, like Amazon, it'll be the key part. If you're going to take off on an aeroplane, you have to give it 100%. Not with time, but with, I would say, roughly the same, 7 to 10 hours. But with technology, we use Zoom a lot, so I'm sure you're familiar with Zoom.
Yeah.
And most of our stuff's built on Zoom, so how we get people started is mostly on Zoom. We connect with people because Arbon is in a multitude of countries, so you're not just enrolling people as a customer or as a consultant in the UK. We're looking at other countries, other time zones. So yeah, we can get people started in different countries and different time zones with Zoom. It's just a perfect platform to do that. So most of the time, especially with brand new technology, is spent at home in front of a computer or a laptop, because in the world of Facebook and social media and Instagram, we can connect people in an instant. And so I've personally enrolled people in Australia that I've never met before, but I've connected with them via Instagram, and they work from their home in Melbourne, let's say, and build their business from there. So it takes about 7 to 10 hours, I would say, but a lot of the time is at home.
Yeah, and a lot of people's excuse for not starting this stuff, isn't it? They don't have enough time around their normal job, and with sort of case studies that it can actually be done. And, I mean, the whole point of both of these type of businesses is that you can work
flexible.
And the flexibility, and you say you work from a laptop wherever you want to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, is there a minimum spend with the model? I don't think there is.
Not with my company, no.
Which is a massive thing, because even if it's £100 a week minimum spend, that's quite a lot for someone starting out, and you don't want to have that exposure. So that's one thing you've got to be really careful of, especially in that industry. But
I agree.
yeah, I mean, is there anything else sort of the people that are interested in joining into that type of a business? You know, is there anything you can throw at them and tips you can give?
I would say be passionate about the product.
Yeah.
You have to be passionate about the product. It has to work. I would say it has to be consumable, which means it runs out regular. Arbonne sells skincare, nutrition, makeup, which people use on a daily basis. So it runs out and people reorder.
Yeah,
and that's how you get that reoccurring income. Look into the compensation plan to see where it's fair and ethical and you can make money. You only should get money for selling products, not enrolling people.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we go down you go down a whole another route with that. And just having a fantastic community with Arbonne. Some of my best friends come from that.
Yeah.
I didn't really realise that was a part of thing, but people, when you join a business, it can be lonely.
Yeah, especially when you work for yourself from home, as I do, the transition is tough, isn't it?
Yeah. So same in property for me, and part of the reason I saw Arbonne, I saw the opportunity, and I knew people that made money, but a part of the reason, I'm a social person. I like to go out and have fun, and with an Arbonne, it allowed me to do that and be the full extension of myself. I didn't have to suppress myself. I could be my full personality, go out, have fun, meet lots of new people, and build a business in the meantime.
Yeah, it makes sense, and hopefully that's answered a few of your questions that you may have towards those two revenue streams, Amazon FBA and network marketing, and we'll drop a link below if anyone wants to get any more information. So thanks, Rob, for your time. That's perfect. And,